Let me just back into the game. Whoop, sorry about that. History. What did I miss? Looks like conversation brought everyone down. The bus rattles a bit as it turtles down the street. The plastic hanging straps swaying gently overhead. Okay. Sorry I missed that, but that just happens when I click back into the game. Happens all the time. Oh, public transportation, you're always there for me. Okay, but now that I've actually caught up with the text I accidentally skipped over, welcome back to the Literature Club. Well, I guess not really, because we're not in the Literature Club right now, because we're traveling by public transportation. Hooray. I don't know where exactly we are right now, because when it comes to going between school and home, we are usually traveling by foot. So I don't think we talked about going anywhere specific, so let's just see what's going on here. I can always count on a ride from you, especially when meeting up with a cute purple-haired girl at the bookstore. Oh, we're meeting with Yuri. Ever since I got closer to Yuri, I've really been speeding through books. Having someone to read with definitely helps in making sure I finish the books, but it also hasn't felt like a chore in a while. Suddenly, the bus lets out a high-pitched whine as it eases into a bus stop. Here's where I get off. I'm not too far away from the bookstore now. There it is. And there's Yuri. I wave at her, although she doesn't see me. She's fidgeting with her hair and glancing around, presumably looking for me. After a moment, we make eye contact. She immediately smiles widely and stands up straighter. Here we go. It's been a while since I've played this game, so it's been a while since I've done the voices. But I'm sure I can still pull them off. I hope. Hi, Code. I just need to get back into it a bit, so sorry if the voices sound off at first. Hey Yuri, did I keep you waiting? Oh, no, I arrived only a moment ago. Thanks for inviting me out, by the way. No problem, I was going to buy something here anyway. So... Well, let's head in then, shall we? Let's. It's subtle, but I smell the scent of lavender and a touch of jasmine oil as she brushes past me. Once inside, that scent blends in nicely with the traces of old paper and ink emanating from the store. Sorry, I just kind of zoned out a bit there. There's a sense of calm that envelops us the moment we step inside, bolstered by the quiet, lulling sounds of flipping pages. Plastic covers gleam from the bookshelves as we pass by, and with each and every step inside, Yuri seems to walk with a little more energy. I haven't been here for a while now. Really? When was the last time you were here? I believe it was roughly a month ago, on a Sunday. Why haven't you visited more then? You know, it's been busy. I shouldn't be spending so much money on books too. She sighs quietly and runs her finger across the spines of a nearby row of books. I've been trying to read books online instead to save on money, but being able to physically flip through pages feels so much better. It's as if I just need something tangible in my hands. Yeah, I think I can understand that feeling. It's definitely easier to get distracted if I'm reading something online. There are a lot of books I haven't seen before in this aisle. One novel with a particular ornately designed cover catches my eye, The Awakening. This looks like one of those books considered classic literature. Yuri notices me eyeing it. Oh, are you curious about some of the novels here? I don't know, maybe that one over there? Why? Have you read a lot of books in this section? She pulls the copy of The Awakening out from the shelf. Kate Chopin's The Awakening, I did read this in middle school. To be honest, I don't recall too much about the plot. Hold on, let me refresh my memory with the summary on the back cover. Her eyes quickly flit over the words on the back, and a moment later Yuri looks up with a smile. Ah yes, it's all coming back to me. This was quite the enjoyable read from what I remember.
So what's it about?
Yes, it's considered a milestone of early feminist literature due to its social commentary and in-depth look into the main character's psyche. The novel is about a married woman in the late 19th century, New Orleans, who struggled to find a place for herself in the restrictive society she lives in. Honestly speaking, I believe I liked the book so much because I could relate to some of the themes.
Oh, like what?
Well, some of the most salient themes are solitude and the impact of social constraints and expectations. It's easy to find yourself falling into a solitary lifestyle without societal support. In a way, detaching yourself from society can feel empowering, and that you can take control over yourself away from the outside influence. But it can also be quite lonely.
I can see how that theme would resonate with Yuri so deeply. She must have been a loner even in middle school.
The societal expectations presented in that era's version of the American South all work to repress the main character's true desires and needs. Especially since the main character is a married woman who has to struggle with gender roles too.
So you can relate some of the expectations in the book society to our society then?
Of course, modern day society isn't as oppressive as the Victorian era society, but still, there will always be social norms that people would be hard pressed to disobey. And at any rate, Japanese society is rather restrictive in comparison to other countries.
You've got that right. When I was a kid, I really wanted to move to America because of how freeing it seemed. Country of rock and roll, right?
I don't know about that, but it's definitely a more individualistic culture. Anyway, The Awakening is a beautifully written book. I'd recommend it if you wanted to read a critique of society, although the ending is quite depressing. Oh, wasn't that a spoiler?
Nah, you're good. If you're gonna recommend the book this passionately, then I guess I've gotta give it a shot. I take the copy of the novel from Yuri and turn it over in my hands.
I'll be looking forward to hearing what you think about it.
We continue strolling around the bookstore some more, this time looking for a book for Yuri. She pauses at a display and flips through a paperback book with a black cover. What's that book?
Battle Royale. I assume you've heard of it before.
Yeah, I actually read a bit of it before. I never finished it though. Speaking of rock and roll, in America the main character in it is pretty obsessed with the US. Although I'm guessing that you know that already.
Well, I'm embarrassed to admit that I've never gotten to reading it before. There are just too many books I need to read.
How about we read it together then?
I like that.
She smiles shyly, her eyes twinkling behind her bangs. And with that, we leave for the front counter to purchase our books. The sun's blindingly bright outside, which contrasts against the chilly nature of the air.
Would you like to get something to eat?
Sure, there's a bakery nearby that's pretty good. They even serve tea. Last time I went there, I had black tea.
Oh, that sounds lovely. Feel free to lead the way.
Within a few minutes, we're standing in front of the bakery. Through the glass storefront, we can see rows upon rows of pastries and bread. As we enter, a wave of warm air carrying the scent of sweets and tea wash over us.
It smells wonderful in here.
If you weren't hungry before, you'd definitely be hungry now.
Plus, they even have oolong tea here. Really? I suppose I know what I'll be getting. I'll think I'll have a cup as well. As we approach the counter in order to order our drinks, the brownies on display once again catch my eye. You know what? I think I'll have a brownie too. I grab a tray and a pair of tongs to choose my own pastries. Yuri follows behind, hastily grabbing a tray of her own. Are you getting anything else to eat? I think I'll have a small slice of vanilla cake. By the time we finish grabbing our food, the lines cleared up. And the cashier, who we are not even gonna see, so I'm just, since they don't even have a sprite for him, I'm just gonna do my normal voice pretty much. Hi, would that be all for you? I'll have some oolong tea as well as this brownie. The cashier quickly rings me up while another worker bustles away in the background to prepare the tea. And your order, miss? Yuri sets her tray down on the counter with a clatter. Her voice is barely audible. Yes, I'll have the oolong tea with a slice of vanilla cake. Excuse me, could you repeat that? I'll have the oolong. Her voice wavers as red creeps up her face, and she glances desperately between me and the cashier. Should I do something? Would that be... We're back in this situation. I feel like no matter what I do, I'm gonna do it wrong. The first time I helped her and she didn't want it. The second time, I thought I learned from my mistake and decided to not help her, but that time she wanted to be encouraged. This time, I'm gonna assume that because she keeps glancing back and forth between me and the cashier, that she wants me to do something. Please tell me that you want me to help you this time and I'm not messing up for a third time. Please. I'm gonna order for you. Please tell me I made the right choice. Please. I might as well spare her the trouble and just order for her. After all, I know what she wants anyway. She'll have the oolong tea and the slice of vanilla cake. Is that okay with you? Yuri nods her head. Alright, we'll have your teas done in a minute. Just as the cashier said, it only takes about a minute or so until our teas are ready. Yuri avoids eye contact as we pick up our cups of tea. With our food in hand, we make our way over to some tables and sit down at. As we walk, she keeps her head ducked down and her eyes steadily trained on the floor. Hey Yuri? Yes? Are you alright? Yeah, I'm fine. It's just that. She starts playing with her hair, stroking it quickly. Don't worry about what happened. If you'd like, when I'm around, I can help you handle all that stuff. That would be nice. She breathes a sigh of relief. Yes! I did it! I made the right choice for once. I didn't mess up. Finally! Well, this calls for a celebration. And to celebrate, I'm gonna continue with the game. Everyone has their own thing they're not good at. Or in this case, everyone has their own thing they're good at. I don't know why I just inserted or not into the sentence, but oh well. You're a lot more book smart than me, and I just happen to be more used to talking to people. We balance out in that way. You see, that's where I'm different from the protagonist. I don't like talking to people. Face to face. With strangers. I often get into this. By now I've kind of gotten used to it somewhat, but I absolutely dislike it. So I'm kind of in a similar situation with Yuri in that case. And hey, Mr. Timothy, and what do you mean by I'm here or not? Are you saying you're just showing up and leaving right away? I don't know. I'm just gonna keep going for now, so if you have anything else to say, I'm reading chat 100% of the time. We balance out in a way. Yes, I suppose you're right. Thank you. Don't mention it. Settled down at our table, we finally dig into our respective sweets. The inside of my brownie is moist and thick. The sweetness not too overwhelming. Are you? I am reading chat. It just takes some time because of the, delay. There's always gonna be some delay, so if it doesn't look like I'm reading right away, then it's probably just because it takes a moment. Or I'm choosing to ignore it. That also happens. Rarely. Very rarely. It mostly happens when someone's advertising themselves. Like, I've had a lot of spam going on. The first couple of times I kind of acknowledged it and said I wanted to get it banned, but I haven't done that, but I hadn't done it. And now I've reached a point where when it happens I just don't even acknowledge it, because that's just what they want anyway. Where was I? Right, the inside of my brownie is moist and thick. The sweetness not too overwhelming. I look around while savoring my bite, chewing at a slow pace. Although the stress is still dotted with people here and there. The streets. Sure, the stress. I know English. Although the streets are still dotted with people here and there, the foot traffic has started to lighten up. When I look back at Yuri, I catch her looking at me, her eyes filled with curiosity. Once she realizes that she's been caught staring, she sheepishly turns red, in an admission of guilt. I'm sorry, Code. I didn't mean to. Relax, it's nothing to apologize for. Embarrassed, she glances away from me. Oh god, there we go. Somehow I get the feeling that she wants to say something, but is too shy to say it. As I muse over Yuri's thoughts, I pop another piece of brownie in my mouth. How's the cake, Yuri? Oh, it's a bit sweet, but very light. I'm assuming you're enjoying your brownie, judging by the smile on your face. She covers her mouth with her hand as she giggles. Okay, you caught me. The brownie's really good. I see. I shiver as I take a sip of my oolong tea. Man, the sweetness of the brownie really makes the tea that much more bitter. Maybe I shouldn't have ordered it. Yuri sneaks several more looks at me as I continue eating. Does she want something? What's up? Nothing? But as she says that, I notice that she's not looking at me exactly, rather she's looking at my brownie. Oh. Do you want some of my brownie? No, it's okay. Once again she blushes as she speaks. It's really pretty cute how flustered she can get. Come on, I insist. Before she can protest, I steal her fork and spear a piece of my brownie through it. Here you go. Make sure you eat it while it's still warm. Thank you, Code. You really didn't have to. Hey, sharing is caring, right? She giggles a bit as she hesitantly nibbles on the brownie chunk. Man, her eyes are really lighting up. Honestly, I didn't really expect Yuri to have a sweet tooth. Pretty good, huh? It's very sweet, but the inclusion of dark chocolate cuts through that sweetness a bit. We continue enjoying the food and each other's company, slowly passing the day away. After a while she smiles, tracing the rim of her teacup with her finger. I've really enjoyed our time here today, Code. This is a lovely little bakery as well. I'll have to revisit it on my own time. Thank Natsuki and Sayori for introducing me to this place. Oh, you came here together with them? Yeah, I didn't really have a choice. I would have invited you too, but for some reason they just really insisted on bringing me. Sayori really insisted on bringing me along, and didn't even think to ask you. So that happened. Sorry about that. Nah, I just happened to see them eating here a while back. Oh, right. I'm mixing up stories. When they invited me along, we went to a different cafe. Sorry about that. But I suppose we should bring Yuri to that place as well sometime, because that's also, from what the game has told me, a very nice place to be at.
I see. But yeah, we should definitely come back here again sometime. Yes, that'd be nice. With our food finished, we get up and throw away our trash. Hey, you want to catch the bus? I think one should be coming around soon. That sounds like a good idea. We settle down on the bus stop's bench, sitting close together, but not too close. I nervously tap my fingers on my knee. Looks like I've run out of things to say. But surprisingly, Yuri saves the day by speaking up. Today has gone by much faster than I expected. It seems like only an hour ago that I left the house for the bookstore. She shifts the book in her bag and smiles down at them. I guess that means it was pretty fun then. I suppose so. Peering down the road for a moment, I spot a glaring set of headlights slowly growing closer. Hey, looks like the bus is here. It stops with a low hiss, and I motion for Yuri to get on ahead of me. Fortunately, it doesn't look too crowded. There should be plenty of seats for us to sit together. Yeah. Suddenly, Yuri stumbles on the steps leading to the bus, falling onto her hands and knees, causing her books to tumble out of her bag. I futilely reach out to grab her, but I'm not close enough to reach her in time. A few people peep around curiously to look for the source of the commotion. Yuri quickly stands, her face flushed as she scrambles to shove the books back in her bag. I reach down to help her. Here, let me help. Are you okay, Yuri? I'm fine. With the last of the books gathered in her bag, we finally enter the bus. Yuri speeds over to the first seat she sees and sits down, keeping her head down as if avoiding the stares from other passengers. She adamantly continues to stare out the window as I slide in the seat after her. You sure you're alright? Yeah, I'm fine. Despite her words, I notice a wind breaking through her controlled expression. Yuri, let me see your hands. Why? Come on, just humor me for a moment. She reluctantly turns her hands over. They're red from the impact, but don't look particularly hurt. Which means... Did you scrape your knees? She's wearing black leggings as usual, so her knees are covered up, but that material isn't very thick. A little bit? Do you want me to take a look at it? No. Her sudden outburst startles me a bit. Sorry, I just meant that it's fine. I'll just check it when I get home and bandage it as needed. Alright, if you're sure. Sorry. What for? She bites her lip and twists her bag's handle around in her hands. For making you worry. You've already done so much for me today and... Well, I just feel guilty. You have nothing to feel guilty about. Worrying is what friends do, right? And that goes for everything else that happened today too. As your friend, I like helping you out when I can. I get it. Thank you, Code. Of course. This has been so embarrassing. You've just had an unlucky day today is all. Try not to worry too much about it. Easier said than done. Yuri mutters this last statement to herself, probably intending for me to miss it. The conversation fades out after this, leaving us simply watching the scenery blur by outside. Although we're not talking, it just feels right. Just sitting here together like this. After a while though, I decide to break the silence. It's nice to physically be with Yuri, but I want to continue getting to know her better too. By the way, it seems like exams are coming up. It seems like we've been talking about them more and more lately. Sorry, we can talk about something else if you want. No, it's only natural that it come up in conversation. After all, we are students. Yeah, I think I've just been thinking about them more often because I think things will go well for me this time. What do you mean by that? Well, I guess you could say that I didn't like to think about them before,
There's such a drag, you know, and I'd rather just distract myself than study. Code? It's fine now, though. I've recently gotten a lot better at concentrating on studying and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure that reading more has definitely played a role in that. Yuri tilts her head and smiles. Really? That's wonderful. Yeah, I'm glad you helped me get into reading. So, thank you for that. My heart rate bumps up a bit as Yuri smiles widely at me. A second later, she seems to catch herself and puts on a more demure expression. I mean, I'm just glad that you're enjoying literature now. She starts playing with her hair, seemingly distracting herself from her own thoughts and feelings. But I'm surprised that you couldn't concentrate before this. Huh? I meant, never mind. What is it? Well, you seem to be able to concentrate on video games and manga just fine. Sorry for being so blunt. You're fine, I'll have to admit that that's true. But it doesn't count. Concentrating on hobbies is totally different from doing something you dislike. Uh-oh. Hang on a second. My throat is killing me again. Wouldn't be fun if my voice died on stream. Also, the way I just phrased this sentence, it makes it sound like I'm not enjoying literature, and that's not something you wanna say right now, in front of Yuri. Well, that is true. Speaking of video games and manga, I should probably spend some more time studying. Of course, we'll still hang out in the literature club, but Yuri suddenly sits up, her posture much stiffer than it had been just a second ago. Sorry, but did I do something wrong? What? I don't really... I'm sorry, Code. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just did it again, sorry. You're totally fine and you didn't do anything wrong either, so don't apologize for anything. I'm not sure why you think you did, though. But you just said you didn't want to spend any time together outside of the club anymore. I sigh quietly. I just meant that we should probably start studying more since exams are coming up. I still definitely want to hang out at school, and after exams are over I want to do a lot more stuff with you. But I just might not be able to hang out as often until then. So you see, everything's alright, well, except for the part about taking exams. I see, I shouldn't have jumped to conclusions. Please don't apologize. It's alright, what matters is that we're all good now, right? I suppose so. I'm just not used to people being so nice to me. Or to people actually wanting to be around me. That was so embarrassing to say. She looks out the window at the darkening sky, although I can still see her crimson cheeks reflected in the glass. Yuri. I'm not quite sure of what to say, but I definitely know that I feel a crushing wave of sympathy for her. I don't know everything about what you've been through, but I do know that I want to be there for you. So you better get used to people being nice to you. The violet-haired girl turns towards me a bit, allowing a small smile to peek out at me. Thank you. As we approach Yuri's stop, we sit in silence again for a bit. Code? Are you okay? She looks up at me with a deep sadness in her soft eyes. Can you promise me something? Of course, what is it? What is it? No matter what happens, will you keep being my friend? Without a doubt, Yuri. There's no question about it. A smile breaks through her somber expression as her eyes glisten under the bus's fluorescent lights. Okay. What's about the topic we were discussing earlier? Well, why don't we study together? That's actually a really good idea. You can come over to my house after school and we can study together. Well, I don't know how much I can help you, but I'd certainly benefit from your help. Yuri nods and opens her mouth to speak, but pauses when she realizes that the bus is at her stop. Looks like I'm getting off here then. I'll message you about the details later. I get up to let her through. Once in the aisle, she steps towards the exit, but then stops to turn back at me. Goodbye, Code. I hope you have a pleasant evening. See you at school. She smiles and then disappears into the darkness outside. That was a pleasant experience. And it's nice to be able to hang out with Yuri a bit more, especially considering the free time events I spent with the other girls. I'm really starting to feel the chill of the nippy November air. If this is any indication, it looks like winter is going to be pretty bad this year. You know, I'm still not sure. Are these events triggered by the time I'm playing this game? Like, did I trigger the Halloween event by playing it in October? And am I triggering this because I'm continuing now into November? Or did I conveniently pick up the game at the correct time so I could experience them, these portions of the story in this order during the actual fitting months? Wouldn't that be interesting if I conveniently picked it up at the right time? But that would just be too convenient. I really do feel like this is kind of predetermined. As in, predetermined as in the game, not that it's... Predetermined was exactly the wrong word here. Like, it's not... I did trigger it because of the time I'm playing it. And it's not that it was going to happen in this order no matter what. Because if it was gonna happen this way, no matter what, then it would have been just too convenient for me to pick up the game around now. There, I said what I wanted to say. Let's continue. If there's any occasion, looks like winter's gonna be pretty bad this year. Blowing on my hands, I start the journey to school, although I stop once I see a familiar red bow on the sidewalk. It's Sayori! Oh god, it's Sayori. Hey, Code! Morning, Sayori. Man, it's cold, isn't it? She shivers slightly, no surprise given her uniform. Much like mine, isn't really built for warmth. Yeah, it really is. My hands are the worst. I'm always forgetting my gloves. And Memes22, hi, welcome back. Forgetting? Are you... or have you just lost them again? What do you mean not again? What do you mean not again? Oh well. Same thing really. Anyway, how have you been recently? Yeah, pretty good, thanks. How about you? Yeah, I've been okay. This year feels like it's going by so quickly, doesn't it? Tell me about it. Outside in the cold, oh well. Locked outside in the cold. Well, stupid cold weather is always stupid, but nothing I can do about it. Just not locked out, yeah. Well, California cold. Well, shiz. I mean, cold weather, isn't it fun? Isn't cold weather the best when you don't have warm clothes? I mean, I feel like I should mention this, guys, but the cold has really taken a toll on me, even though I don't really go outside that much. But you know, you open your windows to let in some fresh air, and then it just happens. And you just let in some air, and a stupid gust of wind comes in and just completely locks up your, completely freezes your limbs. Like seriously, I have been so messed up. I've had to, My wrist is in a fixed position, so I don't move it too much because it hurts like crap. And my neck has been killing me for the past 2 days. But I'm good. Under 5 blankets? Yeah, I feel that. I'm currently under a blanket too. I'm currently under 1 blanket, not 5, but still. I need it. Oh. And yeah, 5 blankets outside. Huh. Just under 5 blankets outside on the trampoline. Because why not? I didn't expect that people would actually have so many blankets outside, but oh well. I feel like I'm getting sidetracked with this conversation. We're not gonna be making much progress with the game if I get too derailed now, so I'm gonna keep going for a bit now. Since joining the literature club, it all feels like a blur. Yeah, you've really settled in well, haven't you? I am so glad that you managed to make friends with everyone so soon. What do you mean I'm completely on track? Yes, I'm on track to Yuri. Oh god. As Yuri has confirmed here. Especially Yuri. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? Oh come on, you know exactly what it means. Nothing, just teasing. It really looks like the two of you are getting along, huh? Yeah, we are. It's just really fun to she's just really fun to talk to. Always shrouded in mystery, so I never really know what to expect. But it's not a bad thing, you know. I was kinda surprised to see her open up to you so much. I always thought you would just keep to herself. Yeah, I guess. I'm not complaining though, I'm just glad that I've managed to get her out of her shell, you know. I didn't think I'd have anything to talk to her about when we first met, but I'm glad to have been proven wrong. She's really smart and elegant, isn't she? Yeah, for sure. I've never met anyone like her. I was kind of scared she'd be really judgmental, cause, well, we both know I'm no poet, nor do I have an extensive taste in reading. Or expensive taste in reading. I have no idea what it said, I could check, but I'm just gonna keep going. But, as I got to know her more and more, I felt like we actually have a lot more in common than I realized. She's really opened my eyes to a whole new world of literature, and I'm really grateful for that. Sayori's quiet for a moment, although truthfully I don't really notice. My brain is still preoccupied by thinking about all the time I've spent with Yuri. Code? Huh? You were off staring into space. Oh, sorry, I was just thinking about stuff. She looks down for a moment. And this is it. Her depression is showing itself again. Hooray. Just what we were hoping for on such a cold day. What kind of stuff do you guys talk about? I've never seen you so lost in thought, so I'm guessing it was pretty deep. Would you believe me if I said books? The Awakening, to give an example. I don't think I've heard of it. What's it about? Oh god, that's a question. Well, the main themes are about society, constraints, loneliness, expectations, that kind of thing. Don't bring up loneliness in front of a depressed girl, please. Especially one that feels like you're drifting further and further away from her towards others. I didn't realize how lonely Yuri was, discussing the book with it and drawing upon the parallels between its themes. And her life really made me and its themes and her life really made me notice. Learn to read, Code. Learn to read. You're an idiot. Just focus a bit. Although in a strange way it made me enjoy our time together. I felt like she finally had a proper friend she could talk to about her hobbies and walk around town with. I get the feeling she doesn't really get to discuss her literary interests in much detail, which is really sad. But seeing how happy and excited she was, it really put a smile on my own face. That's just like you, Code. Always looking out for others. I remember you were like that with me when we were kids. I feel so bad for her. Don't worry, I'm gonna hang out with you eventually as well. Just not now. Don't worry, you're on the list. You're the last one on the list, but you're on the list. Don't worry, I'm gonna hang out with you. I remember those days as well. They feel like such a long time ago, don't they? They really do. Our conversation is cut short by the school looming in sight. After bidding each other goodbye, we both make our ways to our respective classes. About half an hour passed since the start of the lesson. After explaining the task, Sakurai left us to our own devices, while he sits at the front marking some papers. It's amazing how much more engaging the material is when you actually have an interest in it. I can't exactly say I'm a history buff, but spending time with Yuri, especially when we talk about themes, has made me appreciate what the world was like during the previous century. It's easy for us to see now, but back then no one realized Germany was a breeding ground for hatred. Alright. The one other male voice I'm doing pretty much this entire time. Get into the teacher role. Everything... No, come on. I've said it before, I'm probably giving this guy a different voice every single time because I can't remember, because he shows up so rarely. Everything alright, Code? Hatred? Yeah, of course hatred. There's nothing but hatred in Germany, it never was. Everything going alright, Code? All good on my end, sir. You are right, this century really is interesting. Of course. Although it's rather unfortunate how I'm limited with how much depth I can go into, given that this is just given that this is just high school history. Anyway, I wanted to ask you how you're feeling for your upcoming exams. Pretty confident, actually. I've been doing a lot of reading, so I reckon I'll do pretty well with the essay subject. Well, in that case, I expect your history marks to be a reflection of how amazing your teacher is. Sorry, teacher humor. Anyway, that's encouraging to hear. How about the sciences and mathematics? He looks like a giraffe. He does have a little bit of a long neck. I mean, not too abnormal, but definitely it feels like it's a bit longer than the others. You know, I've never noticed it until now. Well, not my strong suit, but I have a few study sessions with Yuri, and I am hoping she consolidate my knowledge. Ah, study sessions. You're adopting a very commendable approach to ensure you're a well-rounded student. It has nothing to do with you wanting to spend more time with Yuri, I assume. Just teasing. Well-rounded, just like most anime girls. Okay. Fair enough, I completely... but not all of them. They're either well-rounded or a cutting board. One of the two. There's pretty much nothing in between. But for what it's worth, take it from me, you've definitely killed two birds with one stone. He winks and chuckles to himself. A warm flush courses through my cheeks as I watch him as he approaches the next student. Yeah, that's why you said most. Yeah, as I said, I agree with your sentiment. Well, he strikes me as the kind of guy who's been in my situation before. With the sound of the bell ringing in my ears, I pack up my things and head for the literature club. After waving hello to the girls, I take a seat. Soon after, Monica kickstarts the session. Oh, Monica. If one of these voices is gonna kill me, it's gonna be yours, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Oh, I haven't done this in such a long time now.
Okay, everyone. Okay, everyone.
I need something to drink, hang on. There we go. Okay.
Okay, everyone. As you're all aware, exams are coming up. So over the next few weeks, I think it'd be best if we put these sessions on hold. I know no one really wants to, but unfortunately, I'll be too busy to run them unless someone else wants to run these sessions in my place.
There's a general murmur of conversation. It wouldn't really feel the same without you, to be honest.
Okay, like the least plausible. So.
The least plausible thing is that no one would join a literature club. Well, let's be honest. If there's an anime club at school, which one would you prefer? The anime club or the literature club? Let's be honest here. Especially if you had to spend your time writing poems for it all the time. I mean, to be fair, there are nice people in the club, so possibly. Well, I guess everyone has their own opinion, but in this game apparently most people are not that fond of literature. Yeah, go home club, yeah. I mean, going to some sort of club definitely helps, like, if you have some sort of experience, gain some sort of experience with different stuff, but yeah, generally I think that a lot of people just... Literature is... Why do you think there's no one else in here? Alright.
Agreed. I could do with more time to focus on math and stuff anyway. As much as I enjoy these sessions, they don't really help out with that.
How about you? Oh, sorry. Wrong voice.
How about you, Yuri? How about you, Sayori? Natsuki?
Yeah, it's a shame, but I understand. Wait, that was my text? I'm mixing up all the voices here. Well, fuck me, I can't read. Fine by me? Oh, hang on, I haven't done Natsuki in a while too. First time doing Natsuki today. Fine by me? Like, that's totally fine by me? Yeah, I think I'm slowly getting back into it. Always knew you sound like an anime girl. Of course I do. Who wouldn't want to sound like an anime girl? I absolutely do, 100% of the time. We have a Christmas party though. Like we did with Halloween.
We can definitely plan that after exams are over. For now though, let's share poems, shall we? That was a good session to end it on now. For now, guys. See you all soon.
We don't even get the poems from the others. We don't even get to read more poems. Oh no. How could you do this?
Oh, and Sayori, you wanted to talk?
With that, I head for the door with Yuri in tow. Ironically enough, I find myself thinking of Sayori this time as I walk home with Yuri. We had this question before, remember? Let's say one day Yuri asked to walk home with you, which was the question Sayori asked us. And I said I would still that I would walk home with Yuri, but that probably won't even happen. So I will keep walking home with Sayori. And guess what happened now? We're walking home with Yuri, and Sayori is not here. Hooray! it happened. If you read most popular songs like poems, they sound stupid. Really? I mean, I guess it makes sense. For songs, it's kind of... the song lyrics usually build on the music, on like the rhythm of it. So I guess on its own it would often sound kind of stupid. What does she think about when she walks home? I kind of feel guilty walking home with Yuri instead of Sayori. But Sayori stayed behind to talk to Monica after the club meeting ended, so... a part of me is kind of glad that I get to talk to Yuri alone, though. Code? Sorry, I sort of spaced out for a bit. It's fine. You must be feeling stressed from all that exam preparation. Yeah, totally. Anyway, I was just saying, I am glad that we did end up planning this study session together. With my help, perhaps you'll feel less stressed after today. That is to say, if you need any help at all. I am not trying to assume anything about your capabilities or anything. Don't worry, I'm pretty sure I will need your help. How have you been though? Read any new books? I actually did start on one fairly recently. The Stranger by Albert Camus. Camus? I don't know names. Huh? Is it any good? It is, at least in my opinion. Simply put, it's about a man who feels like, well, a stranger in society. He's overwhelmingly indifferent to life and, as a result, freely disregards social norms. I don't know if you're familiar with Camus, but he wrote a lot on the absurd. What, like ridiculous things? More like absurd in a philosophical sense. Well, he doesn't explicitly speak on it in The Stranger, but the novel is heavily entrenched in themes of absurdity. Well, good night, Timothy. See ya, and thanks for coming by, and I will have a good stream. Hopefully. Either that or my voice will die. Well, see you around, I guess. And thanks for coming again. And they're shown through the seeming innate irrationality of humanity through the plot's events. Funnily enough, the main character only finds happiness after realizing that there is no inherent meaning to life. Not that I actually find it funny or anything. She's always overthinking her words. It's cute when she gets flustered, but it also makes me worry for her. Well, I'll do what I can to distract her from her nerves. So that absurdity comes from the lack of purpose in the universe, then? Not quite, rather it comes from the contradiction between the simultaneous need and inability to find that purpose. Dang. Kind of a depressing subject matter, don't you think? I suppose so, but interestingly, Camus still thought that we should search for a meaning to life anyway. Hey, wanna continue our conversation inside? For a start, Yuri looks up to see that we've reached my house. I didn't realize that we'd already arrived. I don't doubt that. After all, our conversation's been pretty interesting. We make our way up to the front door as I rummage through my bag for my keys. Right, there they are. The lock smoothly turns with a sharp click, and with that, we're in. I toss my bag onto the couch while Yuri places hers gently on the floor. As I stretch, a yawn breaks across my face. Tired already? She sits down on the couch and smiles at me with a gentle chuckle. Honestly, I'm always tired when I get home from school. I can only take so much schooling before I collapse and die. I suppose I'll need a defibrillator ready when we start studying. Hope you know CPR. I find myself slouching down on the couch as we pull out our revision materials. So many notes to look over. I really don't want to start. Hey, speaking of death, you know how we were speaking about absurdism before? Isn't all that kind of similar to existentialism or nihilism? Yes, although I'd say that absurdist thought lies somewhere in between those two. For instance, existentialists would say that you can find a meaning to life. Nihilists would say that you can't, and absurdists would assert that you can to some extent. So, what would you say your meaning to life is? So you're finally asking this question? To be honest, I'm not so sure. I don't think I've read enough to form any solid conclusion. Really? You haven't read enough? It's not that hard to believe, is it? There are so many books out there that I want to read, but that I may never get to. And there are so many things that I want to do, but can't seem to bring myself to do. Like what? She suddenly looks up and straight into my eyes, her gaze piercing through my soul. Like... Her eyes seem particularly intense above her blushing cheeks and slightly parted lips. Is this time for a confession or something? Never mind. She looks away just as quickly, her cheeks deepening in color. Well, regardless, you can always ask me for help whenever you need it. So many things I want to do. Like you. Was that where she was going? I don't know. Seriously, I'd be really happy if you could depend on me. Thank you. You're so thoughtful as always. I'm so glad I have you to rely on, Code. It makes me feel safe and secure. Yuri's voice suddenly takes on a sensual breathiness? Breathiness? You know, I never heard that word like that. Causing shivers to run down my spine. Hey, Code. You mean it, right? You're not lying, are you? You're lucky you didn't change your eyes. Because your facial expression is shifting more and more into your yandere's facial expression, and I don't want to see your yandere face right now. It's not that I'm fully against it, it's just... Please don't hurt me. No, why would I? That's right, you'd never lie to me. I'm so glad I'd never have to worry about you abandoning me. Yuri, you're scaring me. This game is safe, right? This mod is safe. There are no dark twists in this mod, right? She's not gonna go full on yandere on me, right? Yeah. Code, my heart is beating. Code, my heart is beating so fast right now. Yuri, Yuri. Yuri, this is exactly like in the original game. Are you now gonna take my hand and press it on your chest to feel your heartbeat? Because if that's what's happening now, then I'm very worried. Help me. I don't have much experience with romance, but isn't Yuri acting kind of weird? Yuri must have noticed my uncertain facial expression as she abruptly snaps out of her reverie. Sorry, I just said something weird. It's alright. This is seriously awkward. The only thing I seem capable of doing is laughing uncomfortably. Let's just change the subject. There's nothing strange about showing gratitude. So don't sweat it, Yuri. Really? Okay, then. Thank you. Anyway, we'd better get started on studying before it gets too late. After all, that's the reason why you're here, right? Yes. We spread out all our textbooks and notes on the coffee table to begin deciding on where to start. I am still feeling too awkward to meet her eyes, but hopefully this feeling fades soon. Shoot. The pen that I'd been spinning twirls out of my grasp and clatters across the table. Yuri jumps a bit, startled by the sudden noise. She must have been concentrating hard on her problem sets. It's no wonder that she's a better student than me, with how incredibly focused she can get. It's not like I set the bar high or anything, but she's just really diligent. She seems virtually immune to distractions and boredom. Unlike me, my mind probably wanders 80% of the time. Isn't that relatable? It's been a while since we started, hasn't it? Looks like Yuri's picked up on how bored I am. Yeah, we actually got a lot done. Thanks for your help with math and physics, by the way. You're welcome. Helping you solidified everything in my mind anyway, so... You don't give yourself enough credit. You're a real lifesaver. But that's the thing, right? If I remember correctly, if you start explaining stuff to other people, you usually start understanding it better yourself. Right? That's not just me. I've heard that before many times. Thank you. I know that sometimes I have a hard time articulating my thoughts on certain topics. So just let me know if you need me to explain something again. Well, I think I got the gist of everything for now. My stomach gurgles before I can continue talking about schoolwork. On another note, how does dinner sound? I wouldn't want to impose. Come on, I'm gonna be cooking for myself anyway. What's one more mouth to feed? Well, if you're absolutely sure. Of course I am. Actually, do you want extras to take home too? I want to make it up to your parents for keeping you away for so long. They won't need it. You needn't go that far to be a gracious host. Alright then, if you're sure. Are you gonna study a little more, or do you wanna help me make sure I don't burn the house down in the kitchen? I'd love to help, but... She bites her lip, her cheeks pink. Would it be alright if I were to do a couple of stretches in the living room while you cooked? And Star RL. Hi, welcome to the stream. How's it going? Just hanging out with Yuri right now. Who's probably gonna start cutting herself again. If I were to guess. Because now maybe I'm being a little bit intrusive here, but I don't see her as the type of person who would just do stretches right now. I haven't played through this mod before. I have experience with the original game though. But this is a blind playthrough of the modded version of Doki Doki Blue Skies. And so yeah, I know that all of these girls have a problem. But I am very curious to see how far it's going to be elaborated here. So I know that as she just said, she's doing stretches, which she's probably not. I have a very strong feeling she's going to cut herself, but what do I know? Maybe she actually is the type of girl to do stretches. Not like I know enough about her. I apologize if this is inappropriate. Huh. You mean something like yoga? A little, although I've never specifically done yoga before. Stretching her veins, yeah. Stretching her veins, absolutely. It's stretching to some degree, I guess. It feels a bit embarrassing. It's embarrassing? As I try to imagine Yuri doing yoga, my cheeks begin to heat up. Okay, yeah, I can see why Yuri would think about that about yoga. And anyway, there are just some simple stretches to help relieve some of my back and neck pain. I have terrible posture, and sitting down for extended periods of time with my back hunched over tends to make my muscles incredibly tense. How did you get veins to stretch without cutting us? Oh. Yeah, I mean, you gotta do it somehow, so yeah, if cutting yourself is the only option to stretch those veins. Oh well. And thank you for the follow, by the way. I appreciate it. Posture, huh? Well, you gotta do what you gotta do. Feel free to do your exercises in the living room then. She smiles gratefully at me. At least it's a grateful smile and not her yandere smile that she did earlier. Because I know her yandere smile. The only thing that was missing was her eyes. She didn't have the yandere eyes, but she had the yandere smile. And oh god, I know that smile. Anyone particularly interesting? Not this stream, but like 2 or 3 streams ago, one of the people who helped make this mod actually showed up for a while, and that was amazing. I never imagined that anyone like that would ever show up, but yeah. When you streamed it, some weird people came by? Weird in what regard? Weird in what sense? It shouldn't take too long. I ponder my dinner options as I head into the kitchen. I do still have some frozen dumplings left. Weird in the sense of very not normal. Well, that clears it up. That clears it up perfectly. So I can't believe I haven't talked about that the moment you brought it up, but you played this game too. As in the original game or also this modded version? Probably the original game, if I were to guess. But can't really say for sure. One guy I had to ban because he had a kink for self-harm and really liked Yuri for it. Well, I mean, people have their kinks, but there's no real reason to talk about that all the time. I mean, I get it if people have that sort of stuff. They probably should see a therapist, to be honest, if they have those kinds of kinks, but it's not really something you should proudly announce to the world and talk about on a stream all the for an extended period of time. So I understand why you wanted to ban him from chat, I guess. Yeah. Spoiling the game. Okay, spoiling the game is also... Yeah. I mean, some people are excited to talk about it, but spoiling the game, that's just... You shouldn't do that no matter what. That's just some of the worst people out there who do that kind of stuff. Which is... I mean, and most streamers have it in their chat rules that you shouldn't spoil the games if they are story-driven, at least. And this game certainly is story-driven, I would say. And character-driven. So yeah, spoiling, just not cool. I absolutely understand the ban. But I don't really want to make it seem like they are the only things I ever eat. As much as I love them, a man's gotta have his limits. So what's another dish that could somehow impress Yuri? Yeah, okay. I mean, some people just don't listen, I guess. Frankly, I haven't had quite that kind of problem before. I had some people doing advertising for some sort of site. I believe it was... I'm not gonna mention the name of the site, I shouldn't, because that's just what they want. But I have banned the name of the site in my chat now, so I haven't had them appear ever since. Which, thank God. But But that's the only people I had to deal with, so I didn't have to deal with any spoilers, just people advertising their sites. Yeah, those are bots. I think so too, but well, what's annoying is that these bots are kind of getting around the whole link ban thing by just putting a space in between the dots. And what just happened? Sorry about that. What just happened? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Hang on a second. I don't know why it just banned you. Let me just quickly unban you. I have no idea why that happened. Or what you did, because I haven't designed the message properly. There. That should do it. I do sincerely apologize for that. I have no idea what you did that got you banned. I'm gonna be honest here. Ah, alright, yeah, you guessed correctly. So I guess those people are showing up on a lot of streams. Well, at least I know that Streamlabs is doing its job. At least I know Streamlabs is doing its job correctly. Which is good. Well, good to know. So, what's another dish that could somehow impress Yuri? Let's get back into the game real quick, because I feel like I'm just getting stuck now. Rice is always an option, but I don't know if I have anything to make side dishes with. I quickly wash the rice and pop it in the rice cooker while I think. If I still have some pre-made curry roux left in the box, then bingo, I have enough ingredients for it, so curry it is. Good thing I went groceries shopping. Why can't I say that? Grocery shopping. Grocery shopping. There. You like curry? Frankly, I haven't had much curry. I feel like I've had it before, but it's been a really long time. Then again, my diet isn't exactly very balanced, so I probably should try curry at some point again. Probably wouldn't be too bad. My mind wanders as I dice the chicken and season it. This reminds me of when Sayori and Yuri cooked for me when I was sick. Talking to Mom about the house almost getting set on fire was not fun, to say the least. I am just glad she understood that they were taking care of me and that mistakes happen. Speaking of, I'd better get the stove going. After a while, I've got all the vegetables and chicken going in a pot. All it needs now is chicken stock, seasoning, and the curry roux, and it'll be done. Oh, the accent, well, I'm gonna... It's a German accent, if you're wondering. Yes, I am indeed from Germany. So, you're not the first person to point out the accent. I've had multiple people doing that, which isn't a bad thing. But every time that happens, I'm just once again reminded of how noticeable it is. But I'm glad that you think it's a cool accent and it's not annoying. I wonder how Yuri's doing. Hold on, I should focus on the food, on making the food first. No need to pull a Sayori here. Noticeable doesn't mean bad. Yeah, I suppose you're right. I suppose you are. The sweet and slightly spicy smell of curry has completely permeated the kitchen by now. It's just like when I was a kid. Back then, it'd be Dad standing here making the curry. We'd all sit around the table for dinner, talking about our days and the days ahead. I miss those times. But I just need to focus on living in the here and now. All that stuff's in the past. Otherwise, that wouldn't make anyone happy. I'm just gonna check on Yuri before I continue down this train of thought. Hey Yuri, you doing okay? A sharp inhale through teeth sounds from the living room. She's doing it. She's actually doing it. I mean, I had a feeling. You were in Germany last week, really? Well, I suppose there are still people traveling, despite, you know, the recent events. But yeah, so you were in Germany last week. That's quite a coincidence, I would say. How was it? I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah. Certain circumstances, as I've said. Alright, it was Frankfurt. Oh, I've yeah, I've been there. Again, I feel like you never really travel around the country you yourself are living in too much. Usually when you go on vacation and travel somewhere, you usually travel outside of the country. But sometimes traveling in the country is nice, so I have been to Frankfurt once, but that was a long time ago. No, actually. Oh god, I can't even remember anything right now, sorry. Maybe I've been there multiple times, but it was just so long ago that I can't even take any keep my memory apart. Oh well. Boring? Well, what country really is boring? Every country has something good going for it, I feel like. Plus, Germany, while you can certainly call it interesting, it doesn't exactly have the nicest history. From Wales. Well, maybe it is boring. I can't really say anything about it, seeing as I've never really been there, but I mean, sheep can be interesting. Well, but I suppose if you say so, then as someone living there, you must know about how interesting or not interesting it is. Alright, now let's get back to focus on Yuri, who's making the exact same sound I remember her making when I caught her cutting herself in the original game. Sucking the air through her teeth. Am I gonna go in and find her quickly rolling down her sleeve? Did I startle her? Whoops. Yeah? Her voice seems a bit strained as she answers back. I didn't accidentally mess up her stretching, did I? Okay, well, maybe not her stretching, but you might have messed up. Yeah, no, you messed up her stretching. You messed up stretching her veins. It just happens. Can't do anything about it. I'll be there in a moment. That's okay. Feel free to take as much time as you need. I'll just be here. A few minutes later, I have the curry ladled onto 2 dishes, alongside fluffy white rice. As if on cue, Yuri finally enters the kitchen, sniffing the air appreciably. Apologies for taking so long, Code. Nah, it's fine. I've made curry before, so I've got this. It looks great, though. I haven't had Japanese curry in a while. Well, feel free to dig in, then. She smiles as she settles down into the meal. Alright. Eating to go with Yuri feels almost like an intimate exercise. She carefully savors each bite as if she were a food critic imprinting the dish to her memory. This brings back memories. So in that case, I'm guessing, yeah, you have played the mod, not just the original game. So you've probably hung out with Yuri as well in that case. By the way, I feel like I need to ask this. In your opinion, who's best girl? Who is best girl in your opinion? Now this is very important. If we don't agree, get out. No, no, but seriously, I just want to know. Monica. No question. I gotta be honest here. I have to say that pretty much the entire time I've played the game. It's been a close call between Monica and Yuri for me. So, I have to say I respect your opinion completely. I absolutely respect your opinion. You never liked Yuri? Well, I guess... leave. Get out. Nah. Not about that self-harm life, yeah. You know, all of them need help in some regard. So I can understand that, but... well, it's not that I like Yuri for her self-harm. It's mainly because she's the typical, like, shy, smart girl, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I get it that she can be kind of awkward. Just personally, I like that kind of shy, the kind of shy aspect to her, and the fact that she's one of the smarter ones, or as she was introduced as the smartest in the club. But I can also understand where you're coming from, I guess. I suppose you are kind of correct. Can't argue with that. She carefully savors, almost blah blah, like a food critic, yep. So, how's the food? From my chat for not liking Yuri. Well, I'm gonna say this, everyone has their preferences. If you don't like Yuri, that's fine. We don't particularly agree on this matter, but I'm not gonna hold it against you. Because that's just your opinion. I can respect that. Bring on all the critiques, I'm strong enough to handle them. Your curry turned out quite well. Although, I believe you could have used some more salt and maybe a bit more heat. Ah, so you're into spicier dishes, eh? Well, when it comes to curry, I suppose so. My mother did always prefer spicier foods, and that ended up influencing my own tastes. I'll keep that in mind the next time I cook dinner for you. My own parents liked sweeter curries, probably because I don't have much of a spice tolerance to begin with. There's no time like the present to begin building up that tolerance. You've got me there. Anyway, if you're finished, I can take care of the dishes. Oh no, you're the one who treated me, so I should wash them. I can't allow myself to be such a bother. Hey, it's seriously no bother at all. But... alright, if you're not backing down, how about a compromise? I can wash the dishes, and you can dry them. That works. We gather up all the dishes and pots and dump them into the sink. Well, you don't do normal stretches in school clothes, but when it comes to stretching your veins, that's very much possible to do in school clothes, I believe. I believe that's possible. But normally, well, I guess depends. But this school uniform definitely doesn't seem to be made to do stretches in. It doesn't take long for us to settle in a comfortable rhythm of washing and drying the dishes. However, my attention drifts more and more towards Yuri as time passes on. At one point I'm looking over in her direction, more than I am at the dishes themselves. Well, she'll probably call me out on it if my washing gets too sloppy. She's got that deep look of concentration on her face again. It's pretty amazing how she can get lost in doing things. From studying and reading to even doing the dishes. What made you want to be a VTuber? That's an interesting question. I can't believe I've never been asked that one before. To be honest, I've just been, I don't know. Frankly, when I first discovered VTubers, that was like long ago when it wasn't even a big thing, like Kizuna Ai, way back in the day, and I didn't really think much of it. I've only just rediscovered VTubers again when the, big hype train slowly started hitting. And I just really was amazed by, I don't know, something about them just really enticed me. And I decided to just, well, I decided that when I wanted to stream, that this was the kind of thing that I would potentially enjoy, and it turns out I was completely right. Rather than facecam or just nothing, well, the thing about using nothing is, well, if you have nothing, then you have nothing. You're basically just watching commentary gameplay, which there's nothing bad about that. But I just feel like having the actual person be there kind of adds some life to it. Now I say that, but actual person can be interpreted in different ways in this case. But yeah, that's kind of how it went. Just mainly because I was very interested in doing it, because I really enjoyed watching other VTubers. That was basically the main story. Okay, it's pretty amazing how she can get lost in doing things from starting to read. I already read this text box. That's something I seriously admire about her. She has the unwavering ability to completely devote herself to her tasks at hand. Somehow I could never see her giving anything up halfway through or leaving her work unfinished. Honestly speaking, it's a quality that a lot more people need. Code? Oh. Design, yeah. Yeah, no, this, the version of me you're seeing right in front of you here was entirely made by myself. I created this vessel I inhabit oh so graciously, which is why you can tell that I am currently still in the process of improving myself. Like reducing the amount of time my hair starts clipping into my skull, or improving the overall looks on the hair. You can always phrase it in a more dramatic way, I feel like. But yeah, that's basically why I don't look particularly great, because I don't have too much of an experience with design. But I keep trying to improve myself every now and then. Alright, what's up? You've been washing your hands for almost a minute now. Wait, what? Basically, I'd say a lot of it came out of my brain, but a lot of it was also, I don't know how I can describe. Well, it is, most of it, I have to say, just was my creative flow. Most of it. But not all of it. Wait, what? I look down and see that I've been literally scrubbing my hands with that sponge. Oh, sorry. I was just... Were you lost in thought? Yeah, I guess you could say that. Sorry. You need to... no need to apologize. You know how often it happens to me, after all. I am surprised that you were preoccupied with your daydreams, though. What were you thinking about, if you don't mind my asking? Well, I'm more surprised that Yuri isn't commenting about my staring at her, but it's good to know that I'm more stealthy than I thought. Either that, or she's grown a lot more used to me at this point. Oh, well, I was just thinking about how nice this day has been. Yes, it's been lovely studying with you today. It's always nice being with you. I never find it difficult to talk to you, and you always make me feel comfortable being myself. Yeah, same here. We stare at each other for a moment, our blushing faces breaking into smiles. Code? may I use your restroom? She shuffles away for a bit, clearly keen to rush away to the bathroom. Please tell me you're actually using the bathroom and not cutting yourself again. I mean, stretching your veins again. That wasn't what I was expecting her to say, but if she needs to go, then... Of course, Yuri, you know where it is, right? Thank you. Quick footsteps follow her upstairs to the restroom. Well, I don't know what I was really expecting, but I guess I'll head back into the living room for now. It's not too late in the day yet, but it's already dark out. What's taking Yuri so long? Should I check on her, or should I really hope my curry didn't upset her stomach somehow? She is stretching her veins again, isn't she? You know what, I'm just gonna keep saying that now. I'm just gonna say that she's stretching her veins. From this point on. I should probably see how she's doing just in case. Just as I make my way to the top, Yuri steps out of the bathroom. Oh, Code. Her breathing seems a bit irregular, and she looks noticeably more disheveled than I remember. She must have noticed my concerned gaze as she quickly turns away. Is there something on my face? You were just taking a really long time, so I wanted to check if you were okay. I am fine, but thank you for your concern. Her breathing is still suspiciously uneven. Are you sure? I said I'm fine. I mean... She takes a deep breath. Sorry for snapping at you. I'm just feeling a little out of sorts. No, I should be the one apologizing. I didn't mean to pry. Although I don't even know what I'm prying into. It must be serious though, if Yuri's getting this irritable. It's no problem, Code. We're quiet as we make our way back downstairs. I wonder what she's thinking. It's starting to get late now. Yup, I was just about to ask if you wanted to pack up and head out. I probably should. I don't want to keep you up too late on a school night. Don't worry about it. I wish we could just hang out forever, but life has other plans. I'm not gonna... Yeah. I mean, come on. We all know the main character is kind of dumb. Did you have any idea? You probably do know, but with how many times we've seen Sayori's depression show its face, you'd think that we would catch on at some point, right? With all the different times she's just like completely out of it, talking about, oh, you're really making friends with everyone else and you don't need me anymore, right? And that's been happening more and more, especially since Act 2, whenever we see her. But for some reason, the main character is just completely dense, to say the least. I wish we could hang out, but life has other plans. A light blush tinges Yuri's pale cheek as she continues putting away her books. Not to mention the bus schedule. Yeah, we can't have you missing that now, can we? There's a soft look in Yuri's eyes as she finally takes her bag and moves to stand beside me. I believe I'm ready now. Alright then, let's go. Walking to the nearest bus stop, our pace is fairly unhurried. But that's alright. It's nice leisurely walking through the night with Yuri by my side. Upon reaching the bus stop, we sit down and look up at the clear sky. Countless stars twinkle down from the endless ocean of the night. The darkness seems to be more deep and unfathomable when compared to the luminous moon. A melancholy smile graces Yuri's face, her eyes shining in the starlight. Hey, Code.
isn't it strange to think that some of those stars we're seeing could already be dead? We just haven't realized it yet. And we may die long before we ever realize it. Humans are ephemeral creatures, aren't they? You look used to wear clubs like this IRL? Well, I suppose it depends on the country. I'm pretty sure some schools in some countries have these kinds of clubs, but personally, I don't really have any experience with them either. But it does seem kind of nice, right? Just to have a place to hang out with others where you can talk about, where it's about. Well, it also depends on what kind of club you're in. Yeah, of course, not like this. I completely get you. I completely get you. But just to have, yeah, I completely agree, to have some club where pretty much everyone has the same interest and hangs out after school. And well, not just hang out, but I get what you mean, and I hope you get what I mean. We get each other, right? You talk as though you're not human yourself. But it seems kind of poetic, our being able to appreciate and remember those stars' glory even after they disappear. Yeah. Even though we might be short-lived in relation to the rest of the universe, I think it's lucky that we'll still be able to experience such beauty. That's a beautiful way of seeing it, Code. You're right, people who die, we should be thankful that we were able to spend time with them at all. From dead stars to dead people, huh? I wonder if you've experienced loss before. Looking back at her, though, it's clear that she's once again drifted off into her own thoughts. Not even the bus's arrival seems to distract her. Hey Yuri, the bus is here. Oh, you're right, I hadn't noticed. Yes, I completely agree. Well, I mean, I guess some people are decent at dealing with it, but, like, in general, it's always hard. It's always hard to deal with that kind of stuff. No matter the intelligence of our species. Some would argue that that the more intelligent you are, the more problems you create for yourself often. And not like I know anything about it, but I just feel like that the more intelligent you are, the more aware you are of your problems, and the more problems you seem to notice, of course, naturally you think you have more problems as well. That's why sometimes the most basic creatures out there who are just going about their life based on instincts, they don't really have to worry about all that kind of stuff. So people with anxiety have a relatively high IQ. Now that's a fact that I didn't even know. So the average IQ is higher for people with anxiety. Is that true? In that case, I just learned a new fact today. But I guess from what I've just also talked about, it makes sense that that would be true. And the people who can predict the future the best in anxiety, yeah. Being smart is being smart kind of brings its own problems with it. And you can't really do much about that. The bus is pretty empty, although that's to be expected. Most people get off it before it reaches the residential areas. Yuri takes a window seat, and I slide into the seat next to her. The night sky outside is still as dark as ever, but now it's filtered by the fluorescent light of the reflected of the window. Yeah, there's a pattern. Also, why am I in the bus? I mean, is there a reason for me to accompany Yuri home? It's just extra travel for me, right? I'm going to her home and then back to mine. I mean, fair enough if that's what the main character wants to do.
It's just, I feel like that kind of stuff would have been discussed between the two of them. But apparently, nope, I just decided I'm going to follow her. I'm not even gonna talk about that. Yuri yawns, politely covering her mouth as she does so. Excuse me, I'm just feeling incredibly tired all of a sudden. Yeah, same here. We were pretty productive today, weren't we? Hmm? A few moments pass by quietly as the two of us swaying gently along with the bus. Without a word passing between us, Yuri starts leaning into me. At this point, my nose is filled with the scent of lavender, mint, and lilac. Although I might not be sure what these scents exactly are, what I do know is that it smells nice. Besides, it just feels so right. I can't help but feel totally exhausted, the warm fuzziness inside me causing my perception of time to slow to a glacial pace. Suddenly, Yuri sits back up with a jolt. Sorry, I didn't realize that I was dozing off. It's perfectly okay. I can stay awake and keep an eye out for your stop if you want to close your eyes for a bit. No, I'm fine. She sure doesn't sound fine. Yuri practically can't keep her eyes open anymore. Is that why we're following her? Did we notice that she was tired and might fall asleep on her way? I still would like some kind of reason as to why we're doing this. I'm not sleepy at all. Her voice has dropped down to a murmur and she hastily makes an attempt at rubbing the sleep from her eyes. Wake me up if I fall asleep again, okay? Alright, got it. With that, we fall back into a cozy silence. Within a few moments, Yuri's nodding off once again. She feels so utterly warm beside me, it's making my heart race. There's a certain tranquility about the vulnerability of her expression when she's sleeping. Scent of antibacterial. Huh. Well, it might be. I suppose you would kind of want to take precautions and not get infected. I guess it makes sense that she would disinfect it, but... well, that's certainly one way to break through the more romantic atmosphere. You must be really tired to completely fall asleep like this. I'd hate to interrupt her well-deserved sleep. After all, she's helped me a lot today, and she should get her rest. Plus, it feels really nice to have her sleep with her head on my shoulder. But she did ask me to wake her up again. Do we get another choice now? So stretchy. Well, I suppose. Then again, as for Yuri, if we can trust what Monica has said, then she's just doing it because she gets some kind of high from it. And in that case, I suppose getting some kind of high from it, it's for can't really control herself at some points, but I guess she still kind of cares about her well-being despite that. Maybe. But generally, maybe a lot of people wouldn't really care in that situation. Depends on the reason for why they're cutting themselves, probably. Some get some kind of high from it, some just do it because they're depressed. I wouldn't, but again, not like I can say too much about it. I have neither cut myself nor am I a therapist. She might just be too polite to want to sleep against me, but then again she might also want me to respect her wishes. I'm probably overthinking this. I get a choice now, right? I'll just... Okay. I'm not on a very good track record with Yuri, I have to say this. Whenever I made a choice, I usually messed it up. The first choice was when she insisted on me not helping her carry her books, and I thought she was being coy, which she wasn't, so I chose to help her carry her books, and she complained to me afterward. The second time was when she was too shy to talk to Natsuki, and I respected her wishes to just keep going, and afterwards she was kind of depressed that she didn't have the courage to talk to her. So I was like, okay, I should have talked to her, I messed up again. The third time I got it right by, oh god, what was it? I just know that I got the third option pretty decently. But I'm probably gonna mess up now. I know a few people that have self-harmed, and it's really interesting to hear their reasoning. I suppose so. Like, there's really everyone's different, and that also applies to the people who do self-harm, of course. Everyone has their own story. Alright, I'm gonna be the kind of guy who listens to her, right? That's reasonable. I should listen to her requests. Because that one time when I messed up, the second time I messed up was when I respected her wishes, but I didn't mess up too badly, so respecting her wishes, even if it's not the best option, is usually still a better outcome than if I don't respect her wishes and it's the wrong choice. So I'm gonna respect her wishes and wake her up. Probably overthinking it, but oh well. Psst. Hey, Yuri? Her eyes fly open as she swiftly sits back up, leaving behind only a memory of warmth on my side. Sorry about that, and thank you for waking me up. I didn't think I'd be this drowsy. No problem. Wanna talk to keep you from falling asleep again? Sure, that seems like a good idea. So what would you like to speak about? Well, I didn't think that far. Yuri shoots me an amused smile before looking out the window again. May I ask you a silly question? Ask away. Do you think that after graduation we'll all still remain close? Even if we go to different universities and don't get to spend any time together? Of course, Yuri. Even if our futures take us to different places, I'm not going to let something like distance stop us from being friends. Truth is, I've put more thought into this ever since I talked to everyone about our futures. But I've decided that no matter what, I still want to be friends with everyone. Not that will we still be close. Well, judging that I'm on the perfect character route for her, I'm gonna imagine we'll be even closer by the end of it. Also, I have to mention this. From what I know, this game is supposed to contain some new CGs, and I haven't seen any of the new ones by now. Despite the fact that we're a good way into Act 2 by now, still not a single one of the new CGs. Kind of sad, but hopefully it's gonna be worth it in the end. Especially since, you know, these CGs have to be something, since I specifically had to click on option in the menu to censor nudity, because I can't be showing that on Twitch now, can I? The game theory videos about this game. Been a while, but I certainly have, yes. I have seen them. About all the stuff hidden in the game files as well, like the character files that you can analyze them. Yeah, alright. I've decided no matter what, still gonna be friends with everyone. And that goes double for Yuri. Yeah, we're gonna be double friends. Whatever that means. Yuri gives a gentle smile and scoots an inch closer to me. Sure, sometimes we might be far away from each other. But we've got phones, and planes, and trains, and cars, and feet, and bikes. If I didn't have any other way, I'd still take time to walk to see you. Double friends, absolutely. If I didn't have any other way, I'd still take the time to walk to see you. To be honest, that's comforting to hear. Although, you know, we'll still have less time to spend together once we graduate, right? Well, I'd like to think we're good enough friends to not let something silly like graduation get between us. Yes, that is true. Sorry, I just get anxious about these things. Nah, it's probably something that everyone worries about. I don't think anyone wants to lose touch with their friends after graduation. Yuri proceeds to look out the window, lost in thought. Sometimes I think about all the memories we lose as we grow older. For instance, I know that there are some important things my father told me before, but I can never quite recall them. I wonder how much I remember of today in 20 years' time. Her voice softens as she speaks, lowering down to a husky timbre. I want to say something comforting to her, but I don't know the right words. Well, you can always just ask your dad about it again, right? Probably the wrong thing to say, judging about the way she speaks about her parents. I am still thinking that they might no longer be around. There was no confirmation for it, but I'm just basing it off the way she speaks about her parents. I mean, she does talk a lot about this stuff, and like when she says like she doesn't remember those fond memories with her dad, it really does sound like he's no longer around. Am I just digging too far into it, or do you agree with me in that regard? Oh god, I think as long as you keep in touch with people and don't take anyone for granted, you'll be able to continue making happy memories with everyone. This character is absolutely horrible at taking clues. Sayori flashes through my mind for a moment as I say this. I suppose so. On another note, I believe my stop is coming up. As the bus nears Yuri's stop, she goes through her bag to check that everything's in place. You didn't forget anything, did you? No, thankfully not. Want me to walk you home? I mean, it's a little bit late to say no, considering you've accompanied her this far. And you're gonna need to get out of the bus to catch a bus going back anyway. Unless this bus line just goes around in a circle. Which might be. But I'm gonna assume you're gonna need to catch a different bus to go back anyway. So you might as well take the time to walk her home, since you're already accompanying her anyway. No, I wouldn't want you to go that far out of your way. I'm already going far out of my way. I was already home. And I've decided to accompany you on the bus ride. And now you're like, oh no, I wouldn't want you to go out of your way. Sure enough. Fair. Just, okay. She looks down for a moment, scuffing her shoe against the floor. Thank you. What for? There's a hesitation before she answers, but she quickly shoots me a bittersweet smile. For putting up with me, perhaps. I'm sorry, it's just a rather difficult topic for me to address. It's nothing against you, of course. I mean, yeah, he do be a simp. After all, he only joined the literature club because there's just girls in it. And he do be simping for all of them. Just one more so than the others in this particular case. But oh well, can you blame him? I mean, I guess kind of. Because if you're really interested in these girls as a person, then you should be paying more attention to their subtle clues that they're dropping into their conversation about their problems. Again. I probably, if I were in this situation, I wouldn't pick up on it either, and I'm just complaining like an idiot. She looks literally 11. Well, I suppose she looks a little bit younger, but as we all know, there's a reason for that. It's because she's extremely malnourished. And since she's extremely malnourished, it makes sense that she looks younger. But I also get where you're coming from with that being a problem. Because when you're just looking at it from an outside perspective, it looks very morally questionable. It's nothing against you, of course. Don't worry, I get you. There's no need to rush and tell me. You have all the time in the world. Your patience is forever appreciated. No problem. If you ever feel like talking, just let me know and I'll listen. Also about Natsuki, she was, for the Halloween event that was going on, she was the first one where I actually picked up on the undertones of her costume. That she was the malnourished girl of the group, and she was dressed up as a skeleton. She was the only one I picked up on for a while, until later on I discovered that all of them kind of relate to their costume. Yeah, I absolutely know that would look questionable from an outside perspective. But yeah, have you... I mean, I don't know, you've probably seen the Halloween costumes of them as well, but they really did go into detail. As I've said, for Natsuki, I noticed it immediately. She's malnourished, she's dressed as a skeleton, makes sense. Yuri, the one who constantly makes herself bleed, was dressed up as a vampire, oh how fitting. And Sayori, the one who we know hangs herself, went as a cowgirl. You know, the kind of... the guy, or cowboy, as she said, but she is a girl, so I interpreted that. But you know, the kind of people who carry around a rope tied to a loop at the end. Yeah, let that sink in. And then we have Monica, who's just... I mean, Monica's is, I believe, the most, maybe stretching it a little, but since Monica went as a witch, and she was the one kind of altering reality, like some kind of magic, I suppose all the costumes kind of make sense. And I really like that they actually put thought into those costumes. If you feel like talking, just let me know and I'll listen. Her expression relaxes as she takes a slow, deep breath. That means a lot to me, Code. With a slow wheeze, the bus finally stops to let Yuri off. Well, I'll have to get going now. Thank you for everything. You don't have to thank me all the time, you know. I'll see you tomorrow, Yuri. Waving one last time, Yuri ducks out of the bus into the cold night air. Time to help my throat not die. Okay, what's the time? Is it another great day, or are we slowly approaching the Christmas event? By the way, I'm curious if I should wait for Christmas and just because I know a Christmas event is coming up. They talked about it once, but should I kind of stall it out so the Christmas event is actually closer to actual Christmas? Because I was lucky enough to be able to play a bit of the Halloween event on actual Halloween. I go on the bus all the time. If you're not gonna even go all the way to her house. Yeah, I know. I said that too. It's just because she said she wouldn't want him to go out of his way. But the fact is, did that already. Literally, since I was already home, any step outside, it was already out of my way. Oh well. The bell rings, signaling the end of another school day. As the usual sound of footsteps and scraping chairs fills the air, I stand up and make my way down to the literature club. Hooray. Oh no, it's already chaos. It's already chaos again, I hear the music. As I push the door open, the air immediately fills with what sounds like an argument. A given, seeing as I could hear Natsuki's voice down the corridor. And who's her unfortunate opponent this time? Is it Yuri again? It's Yuri again, isn't it? Of course. Main character is just doing laps on the bus anyway. I mean, fair enough. But I can only agree with that. I can only agree with doing laps on the bus if you have, if you were provided some sort of free ticket for public transportation from school. Because if you're actually paying to go for one lap after another on the bus, then I don't feel like it's worth it if you're not going anywhere in particular. All I'm saying is that cash should be a perfect viable option to give as a present. But isn't that a rather cold and pragmatic present? I could also understand it if you're a bus driver. Okay, fair enough. I sidle up to Monica and Sayori. So, how'd this one start? I mean, I agree, liking money as a present, not a bad thing, because, just be honest here, if you give someone money directly, I mean, sure, it doesn't have quite the whole atmospheric, like the value of it. Like, normally, when you exchange presents, there's always the fun of opening the packaging and just looking what you got. That's the kind of surprise you don't really get with money as a present, but the thing about money is, that way you can actually buy what you want, and the other person doesn't need to either ask you, thus ruining the surprise anyway, or surprise you with something you might not necessarily want. Money's just the safest... It's realistically the best present. Absolutely, because you yourself would know the best what you actually want. And if the person asks you, the surprise is ruined anyway, so there's no point in doing it in the first place. So, yeah. I suppose you can always just accompany the money with like something small to add in. Unless you know exactly what they want, yeah. That's true too. Like, I don't know, ask if you don't want to ask them directly, maybe you can ask a relative of them, something like that. Or if you are a relative of them, then you're basically lost already if you don't know. Alright. Where was I? Right. I was talking to Monica about having a secret Santa for Christmas. Which led the conversation on to gifts. Natsuki mentioned that she wouldn't mind receiving money. And here we are. We all watch as the two girls continue to squabble. Both of them still look fairly adamant about their positions. Aren't you going to break it up? I could. But I think this still counts as more of a debate rather than a full-blown argument. And I'm hoping it gives me gift ideas. Oh god, I still can't do many female voices. I'm trying my best, okay? Plus if you... And you can combine it for a bigger thing, yeah. I mean, theoretically speaking, you could also have multiple people teaming up to buy you one bigger present. But in that case, you might as well just give them the money. I turn back to the verbal sparring session. There's no thought put into it. All you're doing is telling the receiver to buy their own present in lieu of you taking the effort to do so. And that's the point of giving people money? I'd be way happier getting money than something I don't want or need for Christmas. You can do anything with that money. Anything. And you don't have to worry about what to do with a present you don't want. It just seems tasteless to me. There's no Christmas spirit involved. Christmas is supposed to be more than just a gift exchange. Yeah, according... I guess. Again, you could... As I've said, you could save yourself the trouble. It really just depends on how well you know the person. If you know exactly what they want, then getting them a proper gift is the better option. But if you're not entirely sure, it might be beneficial to play it safe and just hand them the money. Again, I also usually just... Since I myself often don't know what I really want, so having the money is also kind of nice, because that way, when I don't know what I want, I can still save it up for the future. And there you have it. That's why money, not a bad gift idea. Alright. But what about people who don't know me well? Or who don't know what to get me? Are they just supposed to ask me what I want? And there we have it. The topic we just addressed. That ruins a surprise too? At that point, I'd rather cut out the middleman and just get the money as the present? In that case, you should just try to subtly get to know you better, or ask one of your friends. Yeah, because that's so easy to do. Or if I just flat out want money as a present because I don't need anything, Or because I want to save up money for something too big to get myself? Again, stuff we just talked about. I have to kind of agree with Natsuki here. That's not the point of the presents, though. Okay, then what's the point of it all, huh? As I've said, the point is to show people that you care for them by gifting them things that you believe they need or want. But what if I want money? But what if I want money? Gotta agree with Skeleton Girl, absolutely. Like, geez, sorry for not being rich enough to not worry about saving up for things? It's just not something to do during Christmas. But gift giving shouldn't even really be the central part of Christmas. But given that we do emphasize it now in modern times, it should see the process of picking out a present and giving it to someone as a celebration of all the time you spend with the recipient. It shows that you care enough about them to give them something personal. Impermanent presents, things that don't last. They're really just quick and easy substitutes for thoughtful, lifelong gifts. Okay, if you hate impermanent presents so much, then I'm guessing you don't like food as presents too? I wouldn't say I hate them. Come on, what's wrong with food? It's a perfectly good gift. Adding on to that, that's something. If you want to give someone money and want to make it still make it a gift, just add something small to eat along with it. Like, I don't know, some sort of candy you think they like. Just get some sort of candy they like, slap a gift card or something on top of it. Makes for a decent enough present. And they still get to choose what to do with the money. Food is good, but like you have to eat it quickly. Give them the money for the food. That's an option. Give them the money for the food. I mean, I wouldn't mind having some sweets as a gift, but items that can be tied to experiences or more sentimental in nature make for much better gifts. Shouldn't gifts be more long-term value? If you give someone food, they're just going to eat it and within a day it'll be gone. Whereas if you give someone a book or clothes, they'll be able to keep it for far longer. Okay. Yuri, I hate to say this, but you're the type of person who gives someone socks for Christmas, aren't you? The kind of person who just destroys happiness by making people open their gifts with high expectations just to find socks. Just pee in a bottle and give it to them and say it's sentimental. You know, considering how much I like Yuri, I'm kind of bashing on her right now too. This is a huge disagreement here. I can't. Because if there's one thing I don't like to get for Christmas, it's just clothes. Because what am I supposed to do with them? I have enough of them, I don't really need new ones. That's just... oh well. There's always that kind of person though, so whatever. But what makes you think that food can't have any sentiment attached? If you give someone food that you made yourself, there's still a lot of thoughtfulness going into it. Like chocolates? They're a pretty popular gift. Yes, but notice Christmas presents, they're typically suited for White Day or Valentine's Day. Yuri, urine. Pee in a bottle. Seems sentimental. You mean just like how she peed on her poem in the original game? During Act 2? I remember that. The poem covered in blood and pee stains. Sentimental value. She wanted us to keep it. It was a present to us. I remember that one. And besides, I didn't say anything about them not being sentimental. Well, you sure seem to be implying it. Who said that gifts absolutely have to last forever? Is that Christmas was supposed to be more than a gift exchange, but it seems like you're pretty hung up on the gifts part? Whoa, looks like this might be heating up. I glance over to Monica and Sayori, who shrug back at me. Should we do something? Although Monica isn't much of a mediator. That's only because you're taking this tradition and eliminating all the emotion involved. Huh? What I'm saying is that people have different feelings toward these things. And anyway, aren't you the one imposing your own tastes on others? She's not a person to give someone 2 socks, not huge. Yeah, just one. Just one sock. Not everyone wants a book for Christmas. You're the one who's deriding my opinions. For someone who supposedly cares a lot about other people's feelings, you don't seem to care about mine. What? The only thing I've been saying is that money isn't a bad gift option. And food too. All this time, I've just been defending my own position. Why the heck are you attacking me over this? I'm not attacking. It's just that you don't seem to care about Christmas spirit at all. You shouldn't try to take advantage of these traditions for your own selfish reasons. Now, by the way, in case I need to make a choice soon, let it be known that I completely agree with Natsuki on this. But I'm on Yuri's character route. So despite me agreeing fully with Natsuki, if I need to make a choice, I'm gonna be a simp and agree with Yuri. Even if I really don't agree with her. Let it be known that when the choice appears, if the choice appears, the choice I'm going to make does not represent my opinion. Natsuki was red with anger, clearly fuming. Selfish? I'm selfish for having an opinion about what I personally want for Christmas? Do you have any idea? So I can't care about what I get, or am I a bad person? Crap, I look over at Monica and Sayori, who stare back at me, eyes wide. Monica nods her head at them as if to encourage me to break it up. Man, why me? Well, I guess I might be considered. I might be considered the closest to Yuri at this point, but still. Either way, I'd better intervene fast before someone says something they really regret. But whose side should I pick? Natsuki has pretty much been on the defensive the whole time, and she's actually made some pretty good points. That is why I one more reason to agree with her, but I'm gonna go full simp mode on this. I am sorry, Natsuki, I really am. Don't worry, I'm gonna do your character route next. Don't worry about it. But I'm on Yuri's character route and I can't let her down. But as much as I hate to say it, if I back up Yuri, I'll probably get brownie points with her. In any case, I better say something fast. So I'll just pick. There it is. I'm gonna say that I agree with Yuri, despite this not being the case. Well, that's a good question, if I would like her or not. If I knew her IRL. Now the problem with Yuri is, while she is a very smart and shy person, which I think are very... Just the fact that she's a shy person is very cute, and the fact that she's smart, that's just, like, very much appreciated. But other than that, she seems very inapproachable, considering that I'm not the most outgoing person either. I probably would have trouble approaching someone, and as I've said, she's not the type of person to approach you, so I probably wouldn't even get to talk to her that much. Plus, here are the problems with why I would probably not hang out with Yuri too much IRL. I'm not that big on literature. And being into reading novels and stuff is one of the prerequisites you need to have in order to hang out with Yuri. And since I have very little interest in that sort of stuff, I don't think that IRL I would be spending too much time with her, because it would involve too much reading novels. It's just, I like her as a person, but our interests sort of clash with each other. So, yeah. Not that big into literature, plays graphic novels, stonks. Well, it depends on your definition of literature. I suppose if I am siding with Natsuki anyway and say that manga is literature and we're putting visual novels in the same camp, then I suppose in some regards I can appreciate literature. But on the other hand, if we're talking mainly text-based novels, then I don't usually put the time aside to dive into that sort of stuff. And that's Yuri's group of interest. Well, not group of interest, but her area of interest. So, yeah, as I've said, not that sort of stuff. Have you never read Harry Potter or anything? I have. A long time ago. Like, a very long time ago. A very, very long time ago. Because, and I am kind of ashamed to admit this, my parents made me read the books if I wanted to watch the movies. It was pretty much just for Harry Potter, but if I wanted to watch a Harry Potter movie, I had to have finished the book beforehand. So, yes, I did read Harry Potter a long time ago. Not to say that I didn't like it. Yes, I had to read them to watch it. Which meant that I was able to pick up on some discrepancies, like the very well-known Dumbledore asked calmly. I know that gets rid of the surprise of the film, but oh well. I'm gonna be honest, one of the reasons why they probably did it was because when you read it, I was a little bit I was a little bit younger than the recommended age range to watch the movies. So my parents they probably made me read the books first to soften some of the more violent scenes. Not that Harry Potter is a particularly violent film, but it does have some scenes that are a little bit more graphic or dark, stuff like that. So they made me read the books because that's a lot less impactful, so that I could watch the movies despite being not quite in the recommended age range. So that's probably the reason why. But yeah, it does kind of take away from the surprise. Not to get back into it, I'm simping for Yuri, so let's go. Natsuki. My sudden shout startles Natsuki out of her anger for a moment. What? I probably should have thought about this more. Don't you think you've been a bit harsh on Yuri, despite the fact that you've only been defending yourself rather than attacking? Have you rewatched Last Red Story? That's an interesting question, actually. What would I like to re-experience for the first time? There's so much good stuff out there that I would like to re-experience. But if we're talking, I mean, definitely most of the MCU is stuff I would like to re-experience again, like most of the Marvel movies. If I had to rewatch anything, those are definitely amazing as a big Marvel fan. But there's also that's just one of many things that I would kill to have to just be able to experience for a second time. Star Wars is also amazing. Then again, the new movies since Disney took over haven't been quite as good. I just gotta say that. I mean, not quite as good in the sense that the story isn't as good. Naturally, they look better because the budget clearly went up and they have more modern means to make the movies, but yeah, mainly 1 through 6. Again, 1 through 6 didn't have quite the modern equipment we have nowadays, but the story just was much better than the new ones. So I absolutely agree. Star Wars is again, there is some stuff that I haven't. There's a lot of Star Wars stuff that I haven't even fully watched. Like some stuff I've been staying away from because I'm kind of mad at it, like Star Wars Rebels. Because I know that Star Wars Rebels is one of the reasons why Clone Wars was initially cancelled. Now I'm aware that Clone Wars was brought back, but I'm gonna be honest, I haven't gotten around to watching the new season. I just know that it was probably the last season. Wasn't alive when Star Wars first came out. I completely agree with you. Would have been amazing to experience it when it first came out. Oh yeah. But you know what? That has kind of motivated me to maybe get back into watching some. Since you talked about Star Wars, it's been a long time since I watched Clone Wars, and I do remember enjoying it. So I might just rewatch the Clone Wars series and finally get around to watching the new season. Which I've been kind of pushing off. It's kind of sad considering I enjoyed the original series so much. Wow, we went off topic real quickly. We are just in the literature club and now we're talking about Star Wars. New Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Father, Son, if I watched it. Yeah, same for me. I feel like most people know that. Because people talk about it all the time, so even if you haven't watched Star Wars, you've probably heard about that twist at some point. But I feel like we really should get back on track because we've gotten so far off topic now. I mean, Star Wars is amazing, but it doesn't really... I feel like that's a topic that doesn't really fit in the literature club right now. So, let's get back to simping for Yuri and defending her from someone who hasn't even really attacked her. What are you talking about? She's not the one who's been invalidating my opinion? She's the one who's been invalidating my opinion? But don't you think she has some good points, though? She has some good points, I have to agree, but... Natsuki, you're absolutely right. I am sorry for going against you on this. I really am. I really am. I should have gone the Natsuki route first, so I would feel a little bit better about myself in these situations. Oh well. Yuri smiles gratefully at me as I say this. However, Natsuki's scowl tempers the warmth I feel from Yuri's smile. And what points are those? Well, the part about caring about what you give someone for one thing? Like she said, the best gifts are the ones that you can keep for years and years because those are the ones that'll carry a ton of memories. Whereas money and food, well, they're one and done types of things. I mean, I wouldn't turn up my nose at them, but they're not very memorable, are they? I have to head out. It was really nice time. Well, no problem. No problem. See you around then. And thanks for stopping by the stream. I really appreciate it. And thank you for following as well. Have fun with the game. I intend to. I intend to have some more fun with the game. So yeah, see you next time then. Thanks for coming by. Not very memorable, are they? Yes, that's exactly what I was trying to get at. And in my experience, the more thought that gets put into the gift, the better the gift usually is. Money that doesn't particularly require much thought to give. Yeah, at least buy the recipient a gift card instead of outright giving them money, you know. But gift cards are so annoying. I get a lot of places that use gift cards, but there's always a little change left over that forces you to spend more. What are the chances that you buy someone something that they'll cherish forever, huh? Are those things usually expensive? What if I don't what if I don't have anything that I really need? How am I supposed to cling to something some irrelevant gift forever? Natsuki, don't you think you're being a little materialistic? Plus, not everyone wants money or food, you know? I think you're looking at Christmas too efficiently. Yes, part of the gift-giving tradition is getting your loved ones presents that you know they'd be able to cherish. Not just crossing off a checklist for everyone you feel obligated to get a present for. You might not think it, but irrelevant gifts could easily become relevant if the right emotions are put into it. The music is getting more quiet, right? I feel like the music is getting more quiet. The argument is calming down, I feel like that's supposed to mean. Yep, it's done. I never said that everyone should get money and food. I never said any of those things. No one? You guys never listen to what I say. I'm sorry, Natsuki, I have listened. All I said is that all I said was that I like getting those things as presents. I know I heard you, and I agree with you. Don't hate me. I'm just too much of a simp. But I guess only one view of Christmas is allowed, right? I can't have any of my own opinions, right? Natsuki? Shut up, Code. You guys? For a moment it looks like Natsuki is about to blow up on us. But suddenly, she almost visibly deflates, the anger leaping out of her. Whatever, forget it. I can win against you guys if Code's just gonna take his girlfriend's side no matter what. Yuri turns red the moment she hears the word girlfriend. Even though Yuri's in the wrong, we're not dating, not yet. Whatever. She snorts as her gaze pans around the room, landing on each of us for just a moment before moving on. I shouldn't be expecting you guys to understand. Really, I guess it's my fault for thinking that others would think like me. I probably just have things twisted around in my head. Natsuki. Understand what? Natsuki hesitates for just a second as if deciding whether to say something. Nothing? Hey Natsuki, we never meant for you to think that your opinions weren't legitimate. Isn't that right, Yuri? Yes. Apologies if it came off that way. Yeah, I think they just got too into the argument. That's definitely a thing I've seen happen in the debate club, that's for sure. But I think we can all just agree to disagree, right? I admit that I may have been harsh during our argument, so sorry for that. I just feel strongly towards this, so... Do you have a lot of good memories about the presents you got for Christmas? Yuri smiles gently as she recalls past Christmases. Apparently I know that she's currently doing that, even though I can't see in her head. Maybe I can see into her head. Ooh, supernatural. Yes, my parents always chose exactly the right presents for me. I still have every single one of the gifts they gave me. Christmas is one of my favorite holidays for a reason. But to return from that tangent, Monica's right, I believe we're both adamant about our positions, so shall we agree to disagree? Sure. Hey, between money and food or books and clothes, I think I'd probably be happiest with an anime box set or a new video game. Natsuki rolls her eyes and mutters something under her breath that sounds suspiciously like useless. Or how about a new anime figurine, Code? Huh? Honestly, there are some few cute ones that I've had my eye on, but that's nothing. That's not something I'm just going to admit to the girls. What do you mean by new? I don't even have any figurines. I just assumed. I'm almost afraid to ask about your opinions of me as a person. She thinks you're a neat, Code. Stop it. Stop. I'm not even a need. I'm at school right now, getting an education. Help me. Don't worry, I'm just teasing. I don't actually think there's anything wrong with owning an anime figurine. After all, some of them are pretty cute. Yeah, they are. Do you have any, Natsuki? I know you like anime, so... Nah, too expensive. I'd rather work on my manga collection than start a figurine collection. That's probably a wise decision. It's hard enough just working on collecting one thing. So you collect things too, Yuri? Yes, she does. Knives. Yes, just a few things. I'm guessing books are one of those things, right? Yuri nods in affirmation, her cheeks red for some reason.
Okay, everyone, now that that's over, since everyone is here, how about we get on with the Secret Santa?
Sure thing!
My apologies, I didn't realize everyone was waiting for us to finish.
Yeah, alright. Monica steps forward with a classic red and white Santa hat. There's faint rustling of paper from within.
Well, guys, don't be shy. Take an air out of the hat, and whoever you get is who you have to buy a gift for. I'll go first.
Her hand disappears into the hat for a moment, she draws it, and after taking a look at the name on the piece, she snips it into her pocket.
Who wants to go next?
I'm surprised you didn't ask. I'm surprised you didn't ask her who she got, Sayori. Hey! I know how Secret Santa works, thank you. I laugh as she pouts and sticks her hand into the hat. Much like Monica, she also slips the paper into her pocket. Both Natsuki and Yuri follow suit, leaving me last. There's only one piece of paper at this point, so it's a pretty quick decision. And I got... Is it Yuri? Will fate bring me towards Yuri? Of course. It was fate. Definitely not because I am just hanging out with her and it was predetermined. No, it was pure fate that it would end up this way. I look over at her, but she's sporting a remarkably good poker face. In fact, everyone is, so it's impossible to even guess who their recipients are.
Well, that's that. That should be interesting.
Wait, hang on. Where are we all going to meet?
We hadn't got around to that to sorting that. Maybe you could have a Christmas party at someone's house.
Can't do it at my house, sorry.
Me neither. My parents wouldn't approve.
I wouldn't mind doing it at mine. Neither of my parents are home, so it's pretty much an empty house. You guys okay with a Christmas party around mine then? There's a general murmur of agreement. Wait, what about food? That's a good question. To be honest, I reckon I would. I reckon I could have a stab at trying to cook some food for us. Maybe some teriyaki, something like that. You? Make food for us? Yeah, what's wrong with that? You make food for us? Yeah, right, like you could ever make anything worthwhile.
I didn't know you could cook, Code. Me neither.
Whoa, that's a new facial expression. I don't think I've seen Monica's shocked face before. Also, the first second that text box appeared, I thought it was just me saying it. I didn't know you could cook. Yeah, me neither. I'm just going with the flow here. But yeah, I've never seen that facial expression on Monica before.
You always used to binge on junk food and ready-made meals.
That doesn't really fill me with confidence. Hey.
Don't underestimate Code, everyone. I've tried his cooking before, and he's definitely a fast learner.
Wait, what? When was this? All three girls turn to look curiously at Yuri, which typically prompts a flustered expression. She came over to my place a few times. In fact, she's the one who taught me the basics.
Where Code learned to cook is besides the point, though. More importantly, I feel like it's a bit much to ask Code to both host the party and cook the food.
Ah, that's true. It's a lot to put on his shoulders. I think he can handle it. It's fine, you guys. It's not like I have to do much to host it, right? And I wanted to test out my cooking skills anyway.
Well, if you're sure, then thanks for having us.
It should be a lot of fun, guys. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I haven't had a Christmas party in ages.
Your cooking better be up to snuff, Code? Jeez, no pressure then.
Give him a chance, Natsuki. Anyway, now that our party has been sorted, why don't we share some poems?
Nope, we're not gonna share some poems, we're gonna end the day. Hydrate. Gotta hydrate. Today is a day I'll be spending with Natsuki of all people. I was pretty surprised when she texted me last night asking if she could go Secret Santa shopping with me. She has me, doesn't she? She wants to go shopping with me so she can gauge what I want. However, I think I'm gonna end this stream here, simply because part of me is still curious as to whether or not I would be able to stretch this game out until the actual day of Christmas. Though I doubt I'll be able to do that. I would have to take long breaks in order to pull that off. So it'll probably be Christmas here long before it will turn to actual Christmas. So I apologize in advance. But I'm gonna try getting it at least a little bit closer to actual Christmas. So I'm gonna call the stream right here. I want to thank everyone who came by for watching. And everyone for watching this over on YouTube as well. Thank you very much. And yeah, I guess that's it then. I will see you next time. Bye!